Welcome into a Thursday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show right here on the YouTube station on JordyCulottaShow.com. You can find us as well as on Facebook. Thursday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show brought to you by Go Chevrolet. Remember, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Still opportunities for you to get inside of our bracket challenge. Log online to JordyCulottasShow.com. We always urge you to like, share, comment on the post. If you could do that, we very much appreciate it. Tell everybody what we got going on. Coming up this morning, we'll talk New Orleans with Fletcher Makel. 8:15, Makel will stop by from WDSU. We'll ask him. They've got a special on Drew Brees coming up tonight over on WDSU. We'll ask him about covering Brees the last 15 years, what he's meant to the city, to the New Orleans Saints. Makel, who is a New Orleans native, always gives great perspective on the city, as he will be here at 8:15 this morning. 8:30, Doug Thompson's going to stop by from the LSU Sports Radio Network. Always love talking to Thompson. We'll ask him about this weekend's matchup between LSU and Mississippi State. Two of the top brands in college baseball meeting up in the best venue over at Alex Box Stadium will be the backdrop this weekend. 50% capacity and some new tailgating rules that we can get to you before we get out of here at 9 o'clock this morning. And we're going to talk to Stacey Hollowell from Loyola. He's the head basketball coach over at Loyola. Second straight season, that NAIA program is heading to the round of 16 tournament, which is an enormous feat within their sport. Coach Mike Giorlando, who's the former Loyola head coach. Coach Stacey Hollowell was a assistant of his, and Hollowell has carried on the program and the success that Giorlando started during his days on the sideline there. Coach Hollowell will stop by here at 7:30 this morning as we get a little preview on his team, some of the matchups, and we'll talk some college basketball with him as we'll pick his brain on what's happening with the tournament, get his thoughts on how his team is playing at this part of the schedule. Remember, every day our coffee is brought to you by Majestic. Majestic Coffee is online, and they're also great social media sites. Everybody that we talked to on the phone today, and we'll talk to all of our guests on the phone, will be brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group, as Real Doctors, Real Solutions. Get in touch with Charlie Harvey, Jason Ramazan. We always appreciate their support. All right, lots to get to today. I guess we'll start with the lead story that everybody's talking about, right?
Yeah, anything happened
yesterday?
Which
one?
Patrick Peterson's going to the Vikings.
That's what I thought.
I mean, like, guy's back in purple and gold, man. He's playing alongside Jefferson.
And Daniil Hunter.
I told a story about going and playing at LSU when his quarterback was Jordan Jefferson, and remembering a young Justin Jefferson running around the facility as he is now playing alongside there. Peterson inks a one-year deal in free agency as he was released following the regular season after so many successful years in Arizona, where he started 128 games in his first 8 seasons of his career. He was suspended for a time in the 9th season, but he played all 16 games last year in his 10th season. He's got 28 career interceptions, and he's heading up to Minnesota, as that was the breaking news yesterday in NFL free agency, was to see Patrick Peterson back in the purple and gold. But that was obviously a good story. Out in Corvallis, F. King Alexander learned a little bit about his fate as Oregon State's university has postponed its decision on the future of its president, former LSU president, F. King Alexander. Instead, the board voted by a margin of 12-2 to put him on probation until June 1st, 2021. The move came after nearly a 6-hour meeting yesterday at the university between the board of trustees, including nearly 2 hours in a private session. So F. King Alexander will be on in a suspended role until June 1st at least over at Oregon State, as that was announced yesterday. Today is the opening day of the NCAA tournament, so make sure that you get over to JordyCulottasShow.com to fill in what is left of the bracket challenge. Just a short time to jump in. I don't know, the first 4 is not in the bracket challenge, so it starts tomorrow morning.
Officially, yes. So the play-in games, whoever wins will be a part of the bracket.
So Today, the first four, they got good games in the first four. I mean, like when you talk about just kind of name recognition, Texas Southern, Mount St. Mary's is going to be the first game this afternoon, and that'll actually come to you from Assembly Hall where LSU is going to play their first matchup versus St. Bonaventure's on Saturday. Texas Southern is Johnny Jones, former LSU head coach. They'll be a part of the first four today. Drake and Wichita State will play this afternoon out in West Lafayette. Appalachian State and Norfolk State will play in the third game tonight. And then the fourth of the first four is a couple of name brands here in UCLA and Michigan State.
This is Michigan State's 23rd consecutive appearance.
And, I mean, like...
Does this count as an appearance?
Absolutely.
And
Okay.
UCLA
Absolutely.
has the most ever national titles. Like, this is a huge one.
11?
The most ever national titles.
Yeah, but is it still 11?
UCLA.
Is it 11
Yeah,
national
I think
titles?
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
But, yeah, I mean, like you talk about
gonna be a good
two
one.
name brand programs. Tom Izzo, so scary in March. I mean, his teams sometimes have these storylines. I don't know if it's been as bad as it's been for the Spartans this season, but usually he can get into the tournament with a mediocre team and turn that into a Final Four run as good as anybody in the sport. So his team has been playing well over the last couple of weeks. He will have a chance to get into the bigger dance if he can win today versus UCLA and Michigan State. All right, things blew up yesterday on social media, right? It was just it was an incredible day, man, for the for just kind of watching this thing unfold here. Yeah, snowballed, right? I mean, and next thing you know, you've got two national media members going back and forth on something that was said on our show yesterday morning. Will Wade stopped by here yesterday morning, and Wade has always been so great with his time for wherever we've been, and was here on preparation as LSU is up in Indiana getting ready for game one of the NCAA tournament. And he mentioned on the way out that it really was kind of I mean, like kind of on the way out. I was just yeah, right. I mean, like we're going head to head with Vital again, and it was kind of just a joke in the sense of I didn't even know if he was going to respond to the comment. And he mentioned that him and Vital had a phone call on Saturday night where Wade said that Vital flat out lied to him, and it was in part to the how Vital was going to handle the investigation. And Vital, it seemed like from Wade's point of view, told him that he wasn't going to mention it. Now, since then, Vital has come out on social media and defended that the producers put up the graphic and that they asked for an opinion, and Vital gave that within the game. I've given my reaction to that. And I gave my reaction to that on Monday morning. And really and truly, after this segment, I don't want to talk about it anymore, because by no means am I using this topic or any characters within this story for sensationalism or trying to boost this show into mainstream news or conversations. I thought at times yesterday I was embarrassed for the back and forth. I thought it was sad at times, because the whole narrative of what this thing started as and has become is lost. I'm just going to go back and real quick, because all this stuff is documented and all of this stuff you can get to. But every interaction that Dick Vitale and I have ever had has always been over his treatment to LSU, not Will Wade. Will Wade's the head coach at LSU, that as the center of LSU's investigation. But my beef has always been, why treat LSU any differently than you would talk about anybody else in the sport, when you know just as good as anybody that the things that are being alleged that are happening in Baton Rouge are prevalent throughout college basketball, and done mostly by the most successful programs, who Vital is the closest with. And that's understood, because he's been in the business for so long. So he's got these relationships with guys like Krzyzewski and Calipari and Roy Williams and Bill Self, guys that have been in the sport for a long time. And I understand when you get relationships like that you don't want to protect them in business, but you tend to be closer or understand what's going on in those programs, or not maybe want to cover up, but at least be there for your friend. And I think Vitale is guilty of that. Rick Pitino, everywhere he's been, Pitino has been shady. I mean, can't we all agree on that? And Pitino defends him while going at LSU. And that's when I stood up and said, why? Will you come on our local airways and talk about that? And for whatever reason, he agreed to do that over 2.5 years ago. And all that started over, why are you treating LSU differently than you would talk about Kansas, Memphis with Calipari, North Carolina, creating fake classes for basketball players? All of the smoke around Krzyzewski and Duke's program. Why don't you mention that at all when you talk about LSU? That's always been my point of view with Dick Vitale and LSU. And I've always been upfront that I have a relationship and a friendship with LSU's basketball coach, Will Wade, that I'm loyal to. But if there was evidence pointing to the facts that everyone alleges or wants to smother Wade in the LSU basketball program, I would be mature enough to see it. But all they're dealing with right now and all that has been proven is nothing. Nothing. And I know you want to go to the wiretap and talk about the offer and the strong ass offer and all that stuff. Everything that through that has been vetted, investigated. Javonte Smart cleared and playing. I mean, I know people don't want to hear that on the other side, but that's the facts of it. And that's what I was going at on Monday. And in the rant where I'm talking about Vitale bringing that up in the game, in that minute and a half rant, I scream out, nobody wants to name the court after Dale Brown anymore. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. From there, Tim Brando thought that this whole thing, or I don't know, I'm not alleging what or saying what I think Tim Brando thought, but he heard Dale Brown's name brought up in that rant, and his antennas went straight up, and he went into defense mode. And into yesterday, what I sat back and watched, and I thought that was, at during times, I thought it was sad. I thought it was misinformed. It was name calling. It was calling somebody down on their luck like they know somebody. It was making comments about someone losing their job to that they have no background information on. It was calling the LSU head basketball coach a clown. It was calling an individual that's been in a trade in an industry for over a decade a fan with a microphone. Name calling over one sentence in a 30-second rant that I just mentioned Dale Brown's name. If that offended Tim Brando, I'll publicly apologize to you right now, because that rant wasn't aimed at Dale Brown. My point of bringing up Brown's name within that rant was to say Dick Vitale at the SEC championship game in 2021 is still trying to tell people at LSU in Baton Rouge what to do while calling an LSU game on a national broadcast, talking about the politics and what's going on around LSU and why they haven't named the court, the Dale Brown court, how it's a tragedy and how it's politics and how it's disgusting. Dale, you don't know Dick, you don't know what you're talking about. Just call the game. And that was what I was referencing within that rant. I don't know Tim Brando. I met him one time at the Italian Sports Hall of Fame where he was the keynote inductee and I was the MC. He and I sat right next to each other for 2.5 hours. And he was endearing, nice, helpful, wanted to be and provide mentorship to me, which I appreciated very much at the time. Once we left that night, we never spoke again. Until I mentioned Dale Brown on a radio show that I hosted, and he called me later that day. And he and I spoke for over an hour. And what I took away from Brando in that conversation was the relationship that he shares with Dale Brown is very similar to the one that I share with Will Wade. So yesterday's attacks on social media, to me, was very hypocritical. In the sense of, you're coming at me for defending LSU and or Will Wade, whatever your point of view is, but you're telling everybody that they can't say a word about Dale? Or nobody can say what their thoughts are on Brown? Look, the point on Dale Brown court not happening and the comments that I made, it was probably a little overpassionate. And if you're a Dale Brown fan or supporter, you might have had your feelings hurt. But my point is that they've been debating that now for over a decade at LSU and within the Board of Supervisors. And it hasn't moved an inch. It hadn't moved an inch. So for Dick Vitale to bring that up in 2021 during the SEC championship game and speak with as much conviction in telling people what to do in an instance or in a situation where he doesn't have the background information or really know what the true politics are of it. My point of view was, shut up and call the game. Nobody that's watching this game cares about the court being named Dale Brown Court. There's a section of people, and obviously Tim Brando is very passionate about that, and I respect that. Because it's the same passion that I'm barking into this microphone about protecting LSU and protecting the LSU basketball program and not putting up with the BS from a national talking head who has the responsibility and at one point was recognized as the face and the voice of college basketball. And for it not to be talked about or discussed about how irresponsible it is to single out one program consistently in a space and an industry that practices all of the same techniques, right? I mean, we really understand that college basketball is a disgusting sport and always has been. Even when Dale Brown was walking the sidelines at LSU. There are allegations for days within those 25 years. We don't have to talk about the way that relationship ended, where he was forced out because of impermissible benefits and practicing and recruiting tactics towards Lester Earl. Now, since then, that stuff has come out and been cleared. But the smoke is there. And I'm not going tit for tat on that stuff, because all I'm saying is that the entire sport is polluted. And my stance has always been to individualize and single out LSU is at the bare minimum unfair. But I thought yesterday on social media was sad. And that's why you didn't hear anything from me. And I'm not here to start a riot today. And I'm not here to take a shot at two guys that are older than me in the industry and have more experience. I have respect for them in the sense of I appreciate what you've accomplished. I appreciate Dick Vitale and always have. giving up his time to come on wherever we are, whatever platform it was, radio or YouTube. He didn't have to do that, and I've always said that. And it's sometimes been confused on why. Why? From the horse you're riding, we're a mosquito on the ass. But I think we hit a nerve. Because I think he sees a little bit of what we're talking about. And it drives him to boil over with his emotion. And he wants to fire back. I got a 3-minute voicemail from Vital last night. That essay text message that I read aloud 2 days ago on air, I haven't responded to. I'm not going to call him back on this voicemail. I don't want to fight y'all, man. I don't want to debate whether or not Will Wade and LSU are playing above board. But what I do know is that they're not doing anything that the rest of the sport's not doing. And whether it's legal or illegal, I'm not here to debate. But to individualize LSU and to go after and attack that program on national broadcast and the ways that Vital has done throughout the last 3 years has at the very least been unprofessional. At the very least. And I think that it's a conflict of interest for him to be on the microphone and calling a game, because at some point he's got to get that opinion out. Whether it was the graphic that drove him there or whether it was just his will and desire to paint the picture of LSU on how he sees it, he was going to get his opinion in those 2 hours on Sunday about LSU. And he was going to tell you that he wanted the court named after Dale Brown. I didn't think it was the time or the place. And that's all I was trying to voice on Monday. I've had conversations with Dale Brown since I made claims and spoke about him on air. And our conversations have been thorough. They've been long. They've been tough. But they've been respectful. And I didn't mean any disrespect to Dale Brown or any of his supporters when I mentioned in that rant that nobody wants the court named after him. That's probably unfair and untrue, because there obviously are people that want the court named after Dale Brown. But for whatever reason, that's been debated for a decade, and it hadn't budged. That's what I was saying. It may happen. It might happen. Up to this point, it's got no steam. There are supporters now on the board of directors that are pushing for that. Collis Temple sat in his chair for an hour and a half last week, last week. He would be one of those guys. He played for Brown. So I'm not here to go back and forth or name call or respond individually to tweets and pot shots taken over social media yesterday.
I mean, the man was a sniper.
I mean, talking about me being down on my luck. Tim, you don't know me. You got no idea what's gone on in my situation or where I'm coming from. To make that comment to the public like you do, I thought was sad. Really. Name calling. Calling me and Will Wade clowns on social media. Calling me down on my luck. Throwing in that little shot about me losing my job. I mean, that was worth it? Really? For somebody that lauds his professionalism and what he's done in the industry? Wednesday's the look on social media that you want to portray? If so, okay, I'm not engaging. Because it's not my game. Vital thinks I'm using him for sensationalism to try to boost our product and our show. I don't need that. I was reacting to something he said on Sunday. It's continued, irresponsible, professional behavior geared towards LSU. I'm going to take up for that because I love Louisiana. I love our state. I love our people. I can relate to the people listening to this show right now because I want the best for LSU. I don't want some broadcaster singling out LSU for 2 hours on something that they may or may not be doing that has been unproven that the rest of the sport could be accused of. That's why Vital and I started to talk. That's why I tried to get Vital on the air to begin with. The stuff with Dale Brown, I apologized to Brown face to face and on the phone. He's had long conversations with me. That was not directed at Dale Brown to be visceral, to be dramatic. That was proving a point of Dick Vitale in 2021 talking about Dale Brown Court at the SEC championship game, which 90% of the watching and listening audience could give a damn about. And I think he knows that. He's been in it for 43 years. March Madness starts today. College basketball's best season begins in 8 hours. I'm not trying to talk about any drama around LSU basketball. They've got enough of that. People understand how I feel about the program and that Wade is a friend of mine. But by no means, as Brando said yesterday, have I been seduced by power of Will Wade's position. At all. Can't I argue the passion and the words you use in defending Dale Brown is the same thing that you're accusing me of? What's the difference? I saw on Twitter where you said it became personal when somebody brought up Dale Brown. What's that any different than what you're accusing me of? You're out there voicing in the public how you feel about the other side. I'm just saying, on this side, this is how the majority of this side feels. So I'm not here to go back and forth. And I'm not engaging in social media, sewer, gutter,
mud,
back and forth. That was the gutter, sewer of social media yesterday.
It was entertaining for sure. Glad you didn't engage.
I rolled
but my
around
God,
in
I
the
went
sewer.
in deep last night. I mean, I couldn't stop. It was amazing.
It was a roller coaster ride just to read that stuff all day because
It was.
it was. They wanted engagement.
Well, that was the thing. Why do you think you stay on there for 4 hours? You're waiting to hear from somebody that they want to hear from.
How many times did he say, I'm done?
How
I'm
many
done.
people did he block?
I'm done.
I mean,
I'm
he
done with
blocked
this.
So many people.
Goodbye. I'm done with you. I'll see you later.
And for the
come
last
right back.
time.
Right back for the last time. Then come right back. Type.
I mean, my phone.
Poor guy. He was in his feelings.
My phone turned into a landline. I had to keep it plugged into the charger. It just kept
I know.
rolling. I was
I
like,
know.
oh my goodness.
I know.
So that's my response to it.
Good response.
You know, I mean, go back and read some of those tweets.
If you're not blocked.
It was a block party.
If you are, we got them screenshot.
Things on the internet last forever.
Just so they'll always exist. I mean, the down on your luck,
Ooh.
the talking before you lost your job, the calling out the clowns.
Fringe fan with a mic.
The fringe fan with the mic.
Best one.
The YouTube host. All that stuff. Just barf. Gross.
How was high school last night?
It was.
It was. Daily, we're brought to you by Edward Jones right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. My good friend Daniel Newman, who is a hoop junkie. I don't imagine that he will be very focused on his job today and tomorrow because it is his best 2 days of the year. But you can call him for financial advice. Get in touch with Daniel Newman. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com is where you can find him online, as you can get in touch with him about any news you need. 401k. Social Security, if you work at Dow, if you work at BASF, if you work at Exxon, stop in and see Daniel Newman, as he can help you out, get set up for life after work with your finances. Online, you can find him at edwardjones.com/Daniel Newman, or just email him directly. Daniel.Newman at edwardjones.com. Direct number to him is 261-8262. 261-8262. It's a 225 area code. Tell Daniel that you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
Or stop by. His office is amazing, and it's right across from Stabs. He might take you to lunch.
He probably will take you to lunch. You walk in there, it's like walking in with Norm from Cheers. Daniel! They just like slide his drink down the bar. And it hits him like right in the gut. All right, let me give me 30 seconds to reconvene here, and we're going to get in touch with Stacey Hollowell, who is the coach over at, really looking forward to this, is talking to the head basketball coach at Loyola, my good friend, Coach Mike Giorlando, who was the former head coach over there, is set this up, and that is a cool conversation that we're looking forward to this morning. We will talk to head coach Stacey Hollowell next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Can you be assured that the air and surfaces in your home are clean, sanitized, and safe for you and your entire family? You can now by logging on to Valera.com/Jordy Culotta, where you, your home, your office, your family can be protected 24/7 with active pure technology. This NASA-based science has proven 99.9% reduction of airborne SARS-2 and COVID-19 virus in just 3 minutes. Log on now to Valera.com/Jordy Culotta.
Have a late night and can't make it for the Jordy Culotta Show at 7 a.m.? No worries. Catch us on demand on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast.
How confident do you feel about your streaming service? Do you know if you have the right gear or not? Is Facebook and YouTube consistently letting you down? I now present to you WSN Live. WSN can help your church, your team, your community bring everyone together for one streaming service where there's no more equipment guessing, broadcasts that your audience will absolutely love, and a support team that you will have around the clock. WSN Live.
A new episode of The Gridiron Show with Whitney Bro is now streaming on YouTube and all podcasting platforms. We sat down with our girl Makin Money to talk sports betting 101, March Madness tips, and more about Megan's journey to the top of the sports betting world. Join us every Monday for a new episode of The Gridiron Show and follow us on social media at Gridiron Show for more.
Opening day of the NCAA basketball tournament. As if you do not have your brackets filled out, make sure you get over to JordyCulottaShow.com to get your brackets filled out. Brought to you by Just Winging It. Remember, our friends over at Just Winging It going to help us out with some of the winnings. First, second, and third place prizes. We'll get gift cards to Just Winging It, plus some gear. Johnson Spillers going to jump in on the giveaway. Some Botox and some teeth whitening for some of our winners for the bracket challenge. Make sure you are online at JordyCulottaShow.com to catch up with what's going on. Stacey Hollowell and the Loyola basketball program is one of the successful programs within our state that may not get the attention and the recognition that they always deserve. A good friend of mine who has always been good to me, man, Coach Mike Giorlando, who is a great basketball mind. He sat on the bench with Coach John Brady for a time over at LSU, and he was the head coach at Loyola before moving on to becoming president of the dental school within the LSU system. And passed on the reins to Stacey Hollowell, who was an assistant of his, and Loyola is heading up to Kansas City for the NAIA Sweet 16. They captured the regional last weekend in Alexandria. It was a little different format due to COVID this year, but it's the third year in a row that Coach Hollowell has brought the Wolfpack back to the national tournament. This is one of the best secrets in our state when you're talking about basketball. And Loyola is heading up to represent the state and represent NAIA basketball in the tournament for the third straight year. And their head coach is joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for that intro. That's big time.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Voice.
I mean, what? Yes. How about the pipes on this guy?
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
guy sounds like a temptation. The last 3 years, I mean, I call you one of the great secrets in our state. Actually, I stole that term from Coach Gio, who's such. Let's start there. What was it like working for Michael Giorlando, who at the end of it is just a great person, and then you start to talk to him about his basketball knowledge, and you can kind of get lost in it. You now third year on the job after being his assistant. What did you take from your time in coaching with him?
Well, he's a fantastic man. He's been my mentor for a long time and a hero. Has been there through some of the toughest times in life and just a giver. I mean, I don't know anyone that gives so much. I mean, the phone calls that he makes to guys that are having tough times in life that he doesn't have to make, but he does just to check in, and just an honor to work for a guy like that. And, you know, he showed me how to develop young men.
Speaking of the young men that you have, seems like a very special group as these guys are heading up to the NAIA National Championship Sweet 16. Zach Reitzel is one of your leaders. Talk about your group as you head up to the tournament.
So Zach Reitzel's a 6'6" forward that we can move around to a number of different positions. He averages 16 points a game, right at 10 rebounds and 4 assists. We can play him at the 5 if we need to. We can play him at the 1 if we need to. Just a matchup nightmare for teams. He's fast. He's kind of compare him to Giannis. I hate to make those comparisons, but just long, can stride it out and can really get to the rim. And then we've got Miles Burns. He's also 16 points a game and 9 rebounds, shooting the ball well for us. Can really create havoc defensively. He's long and athletic. Terry Smith Jr. is a 6'5" senior. He is right at 13 points and 8 rebounds. And so we've got 3 guys that are all over the glass, and that gives nightmares for opponents. And then we've got a transfer from University of Florida who's a walk-on there, can shoot it really well, Andrew Fava. And so those guys lead us, and we take on the Marion Knights of Indiana tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock in Kansas City.
What has this format been like? I mean, I've asked everybody that has come through here, no matter their trade or industry, what the last year has been like. In your instance, it would be coaching basketball and trying to run a basketball program. What has this run been like, dealing with everything outside of getting your group to play, prepared to play each day?
Well, I mean, at this point, we're just glad to be playing. But we had 2 shutdowns of our own, and a lot of starts and stops. We were able to play our last 2 regular season games, but 6 of the 7 games that we had leading up to that were canceled. And so for conference tournament and to make national tournament, the regional that we had in Alexandria was probably the most normal basketball setting that we've been in this season. Just the locker room feel, the vibe in the arena. There were actually, cars in the parking lot and driving out. It was like, wow, I think that might be the most people we've seen in one place since this thing started.
Wow.
But it was going to be a 64-team tournament. The teams out in California and Oregon did not play this year, so they dropped it down to a 48-team tournament. And we had regional pods, groups of 3, 16 groups of 3, and the top team from each pod came out, and we were meeting in Kansas City for the final 16.
Let's go, man. Let's go, Wolfpack. What about, we talked to Will Wade yesterday, and like I told him, it seems like his group is playing right at the right time. It's very cliche for us to say in this industry that you want your group playing right at the right time, right? Want them playing right around March. I mean, you win by 20 last week to get up to the main tournament. You got to be feeling good about your squad, about where they sit going into this part of the season.
Well, we got to take a game at a time. Talladega was number 9 in the country, and we certainly did not go into that game thinking we were going to win by 23 points. But it did feel good, and you walk off the court and you try to just have some levity and balance and get focused on your next opponent. But I do feel good about where we are. I feel good about the approach that our guys have right now, and I'm going there tomorrow and fire our best shot and see where we come out.
We see basketball, at such a high level when you turn on the TV at this time of the year, and you'll see games all day tomorrow, and there'll be basketball from Thursday night until Monday night for the next 5 days. But we won't see your guys play at all. Can you just talk about the passion that goes in to this basketball program or this basketball league when you're talking about the NAIA and the Division III and Division II's programs of it? This is really and truly, and I don't want to discount anybody else's love or emotion for the game, but this feels like when you start to watch you guys play at this level, this is really what the centerpiece is. It's just the love of basketball.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the teams that get to the finals will be on ESPN3, but for the most part, these guys don't get that kind of visibility. But they'll be laying out on the floor and diving for loose balls and taking elbows and all the stuff like everybody else does. Their drive to win a championship is as high. The way we prepare is the same. And so, I understand what you're asking. But these guys they have hopes and dreams just like the guys that played LSU have hopes and dreams.
Sure.
And so they're out there pursuing those in the same way.
No, and I didn't mean any disrespect by that, because I understand what goes in, and everybody works as hard as everybody else in trying to build championship programs. What's your schedule like before you get up there? How has preparation been? Coach Wade said they had to spend 2 days in quarantine before they could get on the practice court. What has the schedule been like for you as you guys travel up to the national tournament?
We flew in Tuesday night, got in about 11 o'clock. We were up for testing and registration for the tournament at 8:45 yesterday. Glad to say that all 16 teams were negative for COVID, every single player. And left there, went and ate breakfast, went to practice, came back, watched video, and went through a scouting report. And they had a little opening ceremony that we ended up having to do on Zoom, but it's just been nonstop since we got here. And it's nice to take a moment and just visit for a little bit.
We are live tweeting this interview out to our listeners, and John Brady just texted or tweeted back into to one of the interactions and said that Coach Hollowell has done a marvelous job down there, a really good job. Who's some of the guys that you may pick their brains? There's so many great basketball minds in the city, like Tim Floyd and John Brady, guys that are just kind of hanging out. Mike Giorlando. Who are some of the guys that you may look up to or watch or be able to pick their brain and just talk hoop?
Well, those three guys are big ones. Yeah. As a kid, I lived down the street from Coach Floyd and mowed his grass a little bit, and
nice.
Went to church with him. And so I met Coach Gio. Actually, I met him at UNO as a camper years ago. Coach Brady, I worked his camps as I was coming up. Jay Ladner at Southern Miss is another one. Joey Stiving I worked for, who coached at UNO and was Sun Belt Conference Coach of the Year. So those are the guys that I kind of turn to.
Well, the last win was win 128 for Stacey Hollowell, which makes him the pass to Michael Giorlando for second on Loyola's all-time win list. So congratulations to you. I know that's a big feat and something that means very much something to you. Coach, we appreciate your time here on this Thursday morning. Best of luck to you and the Wolfpack, and hopefully we can talk again soon.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
Y'all take care.
Yes, sir.
All right.
There is Coach Stacey Hollowell from checking in from Loyola this morning. And I didn't mean any disrespect by that question in the sense of, look, man, a lot of this time of the schedule for teams like, just pick the big teams, the tournament teams, is about March Madness and playing on television and the one shining moment that goes into this. I mean, the levels of Division II and Division III and NAIA, you don't have that promotion, you don't have that coverage, and it really is when you go watch these guys play or you step into one of these gyms, you can feel it. I mean, it feels like a sweat box. It feels very high school. Just not the play on the court, but the feel of the gym,
the atmosphere,
the environment, everything that's around the game. I mean, the court's still 94 feet. You still, most points are going to win the game. The game doesn't change, but the feeling around the game, the environment changes with their crew. And Coach Hollowell has done just a tremendous job. And Coach Mike Giorlando, who put us on that interview, was his predecessor at Loyola. For I believe 6 years, and was an assistant with John Brady at LSU during Coach's time when he spent 11 and a half years on the sidelines coaching the Tigers. So best of luck to Coach Hollowell and the crew with the Wolfpack as they head up to St. Louis to begin their championship run here in 2021. Remember, here on the Jordy Culotta Show, daily, we're brought to you by Angel Oak Home Loans. Angel Oak Home Loans. If you are looking to get into a house, if you want to refi the house that you're in, if you're looking to get into a condominium, into a second home, into an investment property, you can get in touch with me, Jordy at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I will put you in touch with a team of veteran mortgage lenders that's headed up by Lee Gilly and Matt Lanassa over at Angel Oak Home Loans. Very creative ways of getting you into your dream home. If you are self-employed and you are having problem getting a loan, get in touch with me over at Angel Oak Home Loans, Jordy at JordyCulottaShow.com. I'll put you in touch with a veteran group that's got vast knowledge on making that a friendly process for you to get into a second home, the home of your dreams, or refinancing the house that you live in now. Angel Oak Home Loans, Jordy at JordyCulottaShow.com is how we can make that happen ASAP today. Appreciate Coach Hollowell for stopping by here. Next couple of minutes, we're going to talk to Makin Money coming up here at 8 o'clock as Megan will get here and talk a little bit about what's going on, her March Madness bracket, some of the teams that she's looking out for. We'll get some first four selections from her this morning as those games tip off this afternoon. Then we'll go down to New Orleans to catch up with Fletcher Makel as Fletch and the crew will dive into a lot of stories with Fletch. New Orleans Saints covering Drew Brees, the future of the quarterback position with the New Orleans Saints, what the hell's going on live. How confident do you feel about your streaming service? Do you know if you have the right gear or not? Is Facebook and YouTube consistently letting you down? I now present to you WSN Live. WSN can help your church, your team, your community bring everyone together for one streaming service where there's no more equipment guessing, broadcasts that your audience will absolutely love, and a support team that you will have around the clock. WSN Live. Can you be assured that the air and surfaces in your home are clean, sanitized, and safe for you and your entire family? You can now by logging on to Valera.com/Jordy Culotta, where you, your home, your office, your family can be protected 24/7 with active pure technology. This NASA-based science has proven 99.9% reduction of airborne SARS-2 and COVID-19 virus in just 3 minutes. Log on now to Valera.com/Jordy Culotta.
Have a late night and can't make it for the Jordy Culotta Show at 7 a.m.? No worries. Catch us on demand on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcast.
Remember, Go Chevrolet bringing you our bracket challenge, or giving you an opportunity to walk away with a brand new car if you get a perfect bracket inside of our Just Winging It bracket challenge. Appreciate our friends Nick Richard and Lee Carney. Seeing Dominic inside of the bunker right now, as Dom and the crew are down at in Laplace. Nick Richard's like the mayor of Laplace. You get out of Laplace, I mean, it's like walking around town with the mayor down there. Stop in and see Richard, Lee Carney, the entire crew, as they're going to get you into a brand new model today. And if you fill out a perfect bracket over at JordyCulottashow.com, they'll give you a Go Spark, a brand new Chevrolet Spark from Go Chevrolet, as we call it, the Go Spark.
Go Spark.
Here on
what a win
on the Jordy Culotta Show.
That could be huge.
I mean, and look, we are eligible to win.
Cleared?
No, it hasn't. But I'm making it. I'm clearing it for the group. I mean, a perfect bracket is a mother bleeping perfect bracket.
I mean, that's
we don't know anything that anybody else doesn't know.
We got no inside information right now.
Not only do you win a Chevy Spark, you become a national headline.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
I saw some article where they're like, the chances of making a perfect bracket are worse than you think. It's like, well, I already think they're terrible, so I'm not going to click on this.
How bad can they really be?
But if we win the Chevy Spark, one of us, can we all, take it whenever, like make it a company car?
Can we all fit in it?
I'm saying whoever needs it can take it.
I say, yes, it absolutely would become a company car, but I say we wrap it.
That's
like
what,
Jordy Culotta Show, Go Chevrolet.
Absolutely.
I mean, like the
Absolutely.
whole thing. I filled out a perfect bracket. You know what I mean? Maybe like the emoji on the back windshields. Flip the bird.
Nope.
Tell the people.
I never have flipped
What?
the bird
Wait,
in my life.
no, that's not. You,
Is that? I don't believe it.
I asked
You're lying.
David too.
You're
I was like, "Have you?" Because I told
Do you,
Jordy
and
that.
you call it flip or flick?
Flip. You thought I
Yeah,
said
it's flip.
flick. I said
Flip.
flip.
Wait, that's a big debate, actually.
It is a big
flip or
debate.
flip?
It is a
No,
debate.
it's not. Is it really? It's
I
a
think
big
it is.
debate. I
I
just
think it
thought
is.
you thought I messed up.
Do you-
I think it's
never
flip. I think it's
have.
flip.
Never flip the bird.
I never have.
It's tough to believe.
I feel like
It's tough to believe.
personally
Wait, Nick, have you not flipped the bird either?
attacked when
No,
someone
yeah.
flips
Oh, he
me off.
definitely has.
Yeah, I ain't saying yes.
So
or no.
you've never been in the car and getting cut off so badly where you have to pull up next to him and you can't do anything
No.
other than go,
No.
bleep you, dude.
Really?
No.
Because you can't touch them. You're just, that's the only way to
It's
stay
so
F
harsh.
off.
And it
is.
hurts
That's the
me when
point of
someone
it.
does it to me, so I
Really?
don't do it.
So it just cuts
I think
you.
it's just very ugly.
It's hard to get from a stranger. It's funny to get from a friend.
Do you go thumb
I
out?
don't do it funny, though, either.
I'm a thumb out guy.
Me too.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I kind of shoot the thumb to the air.
Oh.
Yeah,
You know
that's just
what I
part. It's
mean?
like a gun.
Yeah,
It's more intimidating. Yeah.
It is more intimidating like that.
Absolutely. I mean, doesn't that?
This is nothing.
It's nothing.
That's
I feel,
you laugh at this.
I feel
Right.
so nervous with all the birds being
That
flipped
feel-
around me right now.
That's kind of like when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like when the teacher turned her back.
Oh, and if you got caught doing that, dude, you straight to jail.
St. Jude, bro. Art class. Remember, me and Mikey. Mikey went to St. St. Jude, remember the art classroom was in the gym.
Right.
Remember that? The music and the art class were in the gymnasium. They still may be. If there's a St. Jude kid out there that's not listening.
That's flipping
not,
the bird right now.
not in school, it's listening now.
Wait, speaking of the tournament, did y'all hear about the refs that now are like kicked out?
Teddy
6 of
Valentine.
them?
Teddy
One of them?
Valentine.
Teddy TV.
So anyway,
That's sad.
before you cut me off,
Yeah,
I'm telling my own
come
story.
on, I mean, come on.
Jordy, what are we
What
I
I really wanted to get away from like flipping the bird.
I mean, you just
stuff.
cut me
I'm
off. You
really-
know what?
Yeah,
Take that.
I'm so nervous right now from all that.
From all the birds?
Yes.
Well, you know what I mean? Watch your head. They're flying around this
I
morning.
don't like it.
About to get your limit.
So we're in art class,
Sorry.
Mikey,
I thought your
at
story
St.
was
Jude.
over.
We're in the gym, and the art classroom was huge, man. It's huge. Miss Callender was our art teacher. And since then, she's great. I mean, she's awesome. Like, you get out of school and you meet your teacher, you're like, my bad, bro.
Yeah,
I didn't
no
mean to
big
be a little
deal.
asshole. You were cool. My bad. My bad.
What a teacher named Miss Calendar.
So she, yes, Miss
I know.
Callender.
I thought that too.
And so she reprimanded me in class, did something, and she turns her back, and I flipped the bird. The principal, Miss Wagner, Miss Joy Wagner,
Jordy.
used to walk behind the gym and smoke cigarettes. That was her smoke spot. On her way back, she stopped in and was just kind of looking into the class, like through the little window, through the little slit right there. Coach, the window of time that she stopped was when I was reprimanded and flipped the bird. As soon as I got the bird flipped like this behind her back, the door opens. Mr. Culotta? I'm like, I mean, my ass puckers like, I'm like, oh my God. And I mean, it was her voice. It was like the principal of the school, man. You know what I mean? I turn around and her eyes were like hawk eyes at me, like, I mean, she didn't say it, but her eyes, get your mother bleeping ass out here, right? She said, Culotta, get up and get out here right now. And I said, for what? She goes, you know for what?
Say
Get out of here right
it.
now.
Say what I did.
And I mean, I probably went on a decade, like, feeling around flipping the bird where I was nervous.
Really?
So I can kind of
Okay.
relate, but I still did it. You know what I mean? Like, by no means did I not do it.
This principal comes and smells like cigarettes.
you're a
Yeah,
guy.
smelled like she had just tapped it out, like
Yeah.
on the bricks. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was in my face. We go to the principal's office, referral, detention, the whole thing.
I mean, that's
dude.
borderline. That's
It
borderline.
was. I mean, like she
that's
got my.
getting
If
kicked
she
out
didn't know,
of
if she
school.
didn't know my dad, you know what I mean? We probably would have been in a situation. You know, because she was like, I could throw your ass out of here
Oh
right
yeah.
now.
And Miss Calendar wouldn't even know.
Wouldn't even know. I mean, like, because like Miss Calendar turned around and was like,
Huh?
sure, you could have Jordy. What's the problem?
Get that dumb ass out of here. I don't need him.
Exactly. All right, let's go down to Lafayette. Let's check in with Megan Making Money.
Kid
Wait,
can't draw
hold
worth
on.
that
Nick
shit.
Richard said they fit 7 men in a Spark the other day.
Nick,
Dirty
that
Mike
is-
and the boys.
That is
Very
illegal.
impressive.
That is illegal, Nick.
Totally.
That is highly illegal, Nick.
I don't want to know what he does in his off time.
Lord. The Ghost Spark. Who
Dominic.
knew?
Did he get it detailed?
Who knew?
Get it detailed.
Give me some
Hello?
Bluetooth. Megan
Oh,
Making
man.
Money. You're live. How are you?
What is up?
Do you know they can fit
I am
7 dudes in a
wonderful.
Chevy Spark?
Yeah, we just figured out. So, Megan, you're in our bracket challenge, right? You entered the Just Winging It bracket challenge by the Jordy Culotta Show?
Right, I
You're
did.
in.
I did.
If you got a perfect bracket filled out, Ghost Chevrolet is going to give you a Spark, which their owner just inside of the bunker said that they fit 7 people inside of last week. I don't know if you've ever seen a Spark. We're calling it a Ghost Spark. But to get 7 people in there seems like a hell of an accomplishment.
I have 2 kids, so any type of vehicle for me would be absolutely wonderful. However, with your bracket, I switched some things up a little bit just because I filled out so many. I wanted some diversity, except for Illinois. I'm dying on that hill.
Yes.
That's fair.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'm dying on that one. But with yours, I switched some things up just because I feel like I've gone crazy. Even my son has filled out like 4 brackets, and he's like 8.
Sweet. Put him in the challenge. I've been riding Illinois since you gave him to us about a month ago. And I'm telling you, Megan, if there is one team that I think can really challenge Gonzaga for this thing, because I think Gonzaga is the overwhelming favorite. Do we all agree on that? I mean, I think that
Oh,
Gonzaga is
yeah.
like, they're like a G League team.
It's them and everybody else.
But Illinois, why? First off, why did you fall in love with Illinois? Because you gave them to us. I want to say the week you gave them to us, they went on the road and beat Ohio State in Columbus and beat Michigan in Ann Arbor.
Yes, sir. Without IO too. So,
Yes. Why?
that
What
was-
is it? What did you see from them?
I just absolutely love the way that team plays. No one thought that they really had any depth, but after Io went down, they had to get some people up off the bench and kind of show what they were about, and they did that. They picked up all the pieces. And Kofi Coburn is a animal.
Yes.
That dude is absolutely beastly. I love the way he plays, and he is a tough matchup for anybody to guard. So I just love this Illinois team. It's just like I've been doing these brackets for years, but like 2 years ago I picked the final, like it was Michigan. I don't know who it was, but then Michigan Villanova,
yeah.
and then Villanova. I picked Villanova to win, and then the next year I picked Virginia. And these were all like I wasn't really like a better yet, so I was just like kind of like playing fantasy football and doing fantasy sports. But like I always get these weird like feelings, right? Like gut feelings in the beginning when I'm watching teams. And I got that with Illinois this year, and I was like, all right, that's going to be my team. And I've been riding them, and now everybody I know is on Illinois.
Yeah.
So, it's just the way it goes, though. But getting them at a ticket to 16-1 was super nice, considering they're now the third favorite or fourth favorite to win.
And this is breaking now over the last 45 minutes. Dosunmu, I don't know if I said that right. Ayo Dosunmu, the forward for Illinois, was just named the USA Today National Player of the Year. Going into
and he
tomorrow.
Deserves that.
He definitely does. He definitely does, as they will play Drexel in the opening round of the tournament. You got to feel about the first four that get going today. Look, Michigan State and UCLA playing the nightcap tonight. That's two of the biggest name brands as you can find in the sport. How do you like this opening day of the tournament?
So this morning, or I put out one this morning, which was Texas Southern. They're playing Mount St. Mary's. These are small teams, obviously. It is what it is. Texas Southern's just a lot bigger. They got a 6'3" guard and a 6'9" forward, and then St. Mary's top player is 5'8" and only shooting at 38%. So Ken Palm has the St. Mary's having the edge, but I like the other side of that with respect to Ken Palm. And with the big game, Michigan State, UCLA tonight, I'm going to go ahead and go with experience and cohesion, and that's with Michigan State. UCLA's been great, but look at Michigan State's strength of schedule. Like, they have had to play some extremely tough teams. They did beat Illinois, Ohio State, and Michigan. So obviously they can play up. And it's Tom Izzo in March. This is when he like rubs his eyes from the sleepy regular season and like roars back and lets everyone know that he is still just an absolutely phenomenal coach. So yeah, I like Michigan State in that one. I don't know what line I got. I think I'm -2. But actually, Fan Duel has a Spread the Love promotion, and you can put your bet in on Michigan State, which is a $50 max, but I think it's at like plus 150 right now. So Michigan State can lose by 150 points, and we still cover and win the money. So that's a special from FanDuel.
I feel comfortable saying that's a lock.
Yeah, that's a lock. Is it Tom Izzo plus 150? Absolute lock.
Do you lose your mind gambling during this tournament? I mean, do you try to bet everything?
I want to tell you that I don't, but I absolutely lose my mind. I think I have 10 bets out, 11, 12, maybe 12 bets out.
68.
Right now for the first round and then the first four. I have 2 for the first 4, and then I have UNC, Florida, Oregon State, and then Oregon for the first round is what I have right now. Also, I'm doing this other little bracket challenge, right? I think LSU is going to beat up on the Bonnies.
Let's go.
I like Connecticut. UConn over Maryland. I have a little write-ups. My favorites though are I love the Tar Heels over Wisconsin. I know a lot of sharp people are on Wisconsin. However, I really like UNC. They look like they are just about tournament form. And they're going to just completely control the glass over Wisconsin, and I think that's going to be the reason. And also, Roy Williams, UNC coach, is perfect in first games playing in the tournament. Like, since he went and was coach back at Kansas, so I don't think that's a trend that is breaking this year.
Damn, I saw in one bracket you've got him going as far as the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I do, but so again, those are my teams that I've kind of played around with, because I mean, obviously it's March Madness, anything can happen. But no matter what bracket I have Illinois winning. And so if that one goes down early, I'll just have to sit back and comfortably not uncomfortably just sweat the rest of my spread.
Do you prefer March Madness to the Super Bowl, gambling wise?
Yeah. Yes, I do, because literally, we're going to start games tomorrow, and it's going to be one starting every 15 minutes from 9 o'clock until 12 p.m. I don't know. It's insane. So that's a great opportunity as for bettors. If we are, you never want to
chase all day
responsibly, but that way you have so much to pick from, and if you get down a couple of games, you can just sit back and still enjoy basketball that day. You know what I mean? But as far as the Super Bowl, this year, obviously picking Kansas City, I went down hard early and just I didn't care about the rest of the Super Bowl after that, because I hedged and I was like, whatever, Tom Brady, obviously this is your time, just do your thing. But with March Madness, man, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of fun, but betting it is a lot of work. Because you gotta look at a lot of different variables. It's not just the team that you've seen with your eyes, and it's not just numbers. You gotta put numbers, and I love riding hot teams in tournaments. I like taking gritty teams in tournaments. I was really high on Georgia Tech before the COVID news broke, the other day. But I still think that they can make a good run. But yeah, so I think I do like March Madness betting wise more than the Super Bowl. If I had to pick.
I'm sorry. How do you feel about LSU going in?
I think that they're a gritty team, just kind of like Florida, where the SEC this year has just been so inconsistent, and that's why I have Oregon State covering +8 with Tennessee. Tennessee, LSU, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, they've all shown these flashes of we are fabulous teams, we are absolutely brilliant, and then all of a sudden they'll show flashes of absolute crap, and it's just you never really know what team you're going to get with these guys. But I feel like the grittiness of the South and these athletes, because we do have, these SEC athletes, I think that is really going to come out in the tournament. The competitive drive and just the pure athleticism, especially over these smaller teams. I think LSU has a good shot. I think maybe Sweet 16. If we get lucky, maybe Elite 8. I got them. I think in your bracket, I took them going pretty far just because we're in Baton Rouge, and that was a fun thing to do.
Way to play to the crowd, Meg.
That's right.
Right. Tell them what's coming up at Fan Duel with March Madness. How can our listeners, how can our audience become involved and become gamblers over at Fan Duel?
Well, it's kind of a complicated process right now because we gotta.
Legal here, bro.
The mobile app. The mobile app.
Sorry.
Making a not illegal. I know a guy.
Sorry.
It's me.
We break the rules over here at the Jordy Culotta Show. My bad. Let me retract that question. Let me pull that from the record. That never happened. We'll rewind the tape. That didn't happen. Who's your final four, Meg?
Okay, the one that I gave out was I got Iowa, UConn, Ohio State, and Illinois. So. Iowa, they got Luka Garza.
The Zags in. So
I don't. Okay. I actually think that is the first team to go down, the first big seed to go down. I think that.
Where do you have them getting bounced?
I have them getting bounced by third round by Creighton. I got them beaten. I have Creighton going a little far here. I think they are a better team that people give them credit for, and they're going to make a little. Or Creighton. I don't know. There's small schools up in the east. I'm from the south. I don't know what that is.
Nebraska?
No, Creighton. I think it's up in the northeast. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
You're just shooting shots over here.
So yeah, Iowa. They got Luka Garza. And UConn. Since Book Knight's come back, they have been a force, and that team has been rallying around him as just an absolute monster as well. Ohio State, they've shown that they are a super cohesive team and can play really good ball. And obviously I got Illinois, who I am obsessed with and I've talked plenty about.
Creighton is in Omaha, Nebraska. Thank you.
Oh, you're right. Okay, good for you.
All right.
I thought it was up in the Northeast. My brain's been rattled by.
They are the Big East, so that could be why.
That could be why.
You playing in the NBA during the tournament?
I'm not. I am not necessarily a good NBA bettor for whatever reason. I think that I do much better with the college sports and then NFL just because I feel like there's a little bit more of a flow for me personally. Like if I see, Russell Wilson really feeling himself. Like that's like I pick up on that, and I like to bet that. But I don't know. LeBron could play. He could come out and not want to play. He could, whatever. Like it's just, I don't know. It's not. Every time I bet NBA, I tend to either absolutely kill it or reverse sweep. So I would rather just stick with my college football, college basketball, baseball, and NFL.
Easy to find our girl on Twitter, Makin Money, and you can hear her here every Thursday at 8 a.m. Appreciate you rocking the gear on your videos. You look great in the mint green, and we'll check in with you next week.
I like that tie-dye one, too. That tie-dye one is sick. Y'all need to go pick that one up.
Yeah, we can make that happen. It's a one-off, but we'll put one in
the mail. We'll put one in the mail. Thank you, Meg.
All right. I already won something today. I'll take it.
There you go. 1-0. 1-0.
All right, let's go, baby.
Later, Meg. All right, there's Megan Makin Money checking in from the Acadiana area this morning as she gives you her Final Four. How about that? No Zags. I mean, look, I got Gonzaga as kind of the Kentucky Anthony Davis team, just kind of like cruising through this thing. I mean, that's the last team that went in undefeated.
Really?
Was Davis in that Kentucky squad?
They're good.
They're like a G League team.
I thought it was Indiana Hoosiers in '76.
They went all the way undefeated.
They did.
All the way undefeated,
They did.
Bobby Knight.
But
That's
so
what
did
Gonzaga's
Kentucky.
trying to do, right?
Kentucky in 2011 with Anthony Davis and that crew went all the way undefeated. Is that right? Is that true?
I think they lost. Did they
I
lose
don't
in the
think so.
SEC tournament?
No.
think it was.
No, they did get beat. They had a team that went undefeated. They got beat in the semis. Carl Anthony Towns and them.
Was that the finals or the semis?
The semis. They got bumped in the semis.
This would be the first undefeated season
Since 76?
76.
And
Indiana
the 76
Bobby Knight.
Bobby Knight, Indiana Hoosiers. That's right. That's right. What an accomplishment.
I know.
I mean, what an accomplishment to be able to get through this tournament.
It's incredible.
I truly
It is.
believe this is the best tournament to decide a champion.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like,
you can't run from anybody.
This is as good as it gets, man.
Isn't it weird that Duke and Kentucky aren't there?
With the first time since what?
1976.
Mid-70s? Yeah.
Again,
what a year.
1970. I know, right?
What a year,
What happened in
76.
76
The
was
only
a year.
reason why I began to like Nate Oates just a little bit is when earlier in the year when he said Krzyzewski was trying to get out of the season and he said, you think he'd have done this with a good team?
Yeah, I mean, it's the
You know what I
truth.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, wow, the guy Nate Oates, I like him. I like Nate
If
Oates.
you're 12-0,
I love Nate Oates, and I got to be honest, if that was Will Wade telling Nate Oates to get the bleep out of here after the game, I'd have fallen harder for Will Wade. I loved it. I loved it.
Those two guys, good God.
Sheesh, bro. I mean, they run into a lot of each other on the recruiting trail. That's
They
where
have
all
to.
this
Oh, yeah,
stuff
I'm
is,
sure.
That's where all this
Absolutely.
stuff is coming from. Remember, we're brought to you by Elevate. In today's age, the scar that addiction has left upon the society is apparent across all walks of life. Today, it is impossible to meet it seems like it's impossible to meet any person that has not been affected by drug and alcohol addiction in some shape or form. Drug and alcohol addiction in Louisiana and across the United States is not only growing, it's growing at a rapid rate. Drug overdose deaths are growing at an alarming rate with the introduction of powerful synthetic opioids out there that are on the streets. If you suffer from this, if you have a family member, a friend from any walk of life that suffers from addiction, alcohol or drug addiction, get in touch with our friends Elevate Treatment and Legacy Center, located right here in Baton Rouge, in the heart of Baton Rouge, off of Jefferson Highway. You can find out all of the information and go through all of the procedures and steps online at ELEV, the number 8, treatment.com. So that's elevatetreatment.com, where you can find out all of the information. This is a sensitive topic. This is something that you don't want to talk about out loud, whether it's you that is struggling or somebody around you that is struggling. Just log online at some point today, tomorrow, when you have a quiet time and you're by yourself. Just look up Elevate Treatment Center and see how it can help you. They're dedicated to treating their patients. They want to help you achieve and maintain sobriety. Online, elevatetreatment.com. All right, let's get down to New Orleans and talking to our good friend Fletcher Makel, who is down at WDSU as he has been covering the city.
Fletcher Makel.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Good morning, sir. How are you? We're live. Coming a little
I am
hot.
doing well. Thank you for having me as always. I appreciate it, Jordy.
Always. The new format, we come in a little hot, so I got to tell people right off the top rope that we are live coming into the interview. So much appreciated your time. Before we get into all the news coming out of the city, because there's ton, I know that this is another year for the Makels on the baseball diamond with the pickup league. How are we feeling going into the season?
I do play in an over 35 baseball league here in New Orleans, even though I am, not even close to 35 anymore. And every Monday I wake up and I feel like I was hit by a bus, and I tell myself, why do I do this every year? But I do enjoy it. And two quick things. 2020 was a rough year, so in 2021 I decided to have some fun, and I have leaned into who I am. And for your audience, I hope most of them remember this. I picked number 99 this year because Fletch in the movie was number 99. If you'll remember, Chevy Chase in his Lakers dream sequences was number 99, so I thought that was funny. And I also heard that Doug Thompson is coming on today, LSU legend, 1997, on the mound, throwing the final out against Bama. He and I were summer ball teammates down here in the New Orleans All-American League when we were in college. And he's an awesome dude. He's a great pitcher. And he had his amazing moments when he actually played. I was not that great, so at 46, I am still trying to find that greatness.
Still chasing, baby. It's all good. First question for Thompson coming up here at 8:30, a scouting report on Makel, though, right off the top. We're getting a scouting report here in 15 minutes as Fletcher Makel joins us from New Orleans. One of the greats, man. If you want, it feels New Orleans when you talk to Fletcher. He's from the city. He covers the city. You can find him on Twitter at Fletcher WDSU, sports anchor down there with the NBC affiliate. An era came to an end earlier this week. 15 years to the day. Drew Brees inked with the Saints. He announced his retirement with the Saints. I want to talk to you about all the stuff that has followed since then, the Gail Benson and Tom Benson tribute, the goodbye letter that Brees voiced yesterday. But tell me from your point of view, somebody who loves that city more than anybody I know, what has the last 15 years been like covering the New Orleans Saints and covering Drew Brees?
Well, from a coverage standpoint, professionally as a sports journalist, it's been fantastic because, as you all know, when the teams are good, people have more interest. People feel good about it. It's like drinking water from a fire hose. People, people want it so much. It's an insatiable appetite for what we have and what we cover. So that's what has made it great with Drew Brees. And I've said this before, so I'll say it again because it's the one thing that I think sticks with me. You just referenced, I was born and raised here. I'm 46 years old. I was young, but I remember the 80s and the bags on the head and the loserdom. And no matter what, even if the Saints had a good year here and there, it just felt like you were stuck in a rut, that you weren't as good as the Bills or the Cowboys when they got good, or the generational team, the Niners. You could never be that. It was an unattainable dream. Drew Brees changed all that. He turned an entire culture of sports from pessimistic naysayers into optimistic believers. I mean, think about this. If you were a kid and you were 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old when Drew Brees got here, you're now 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and you have known nothing except what's possible. The little guy who can show up and overcome everything. The team that never could now can. I mean, it changes your psyche on how you look at the world. In Louisiana, we look at our culture through the prism of sports. What I saw was always just a little bit frustrating. What a whole generation that grew up with Brees has seen is just unlimited possible and potential. And to me, that has changed the way we view our city and ourselves. And I know I'm romanticizing it, but I truly believe that.
Fletcher Makel joining us here. How do we remember him? How will we always remember? I remember I stole your idea when they took down the statue at Lee's Circle, and you talked about putting Satchmo or putting Brees up there, and I thought Brees or Tom Benson would have been a great idea. How will the city in South Louisiana remember Drew Brees for just his philanthropic touch that he brought to the city?
Yeah, I mean, look, not only on the field. I mean, if you just talk about what he did on the field, he's the greatest athlete in New Orleans' history. He's on an island by himself in a category of one. There's nobody even close to him, with all due respect to Archie and Pistol Pete and Martin Anderson and Ricky Jackson. Great, Willie Rope, amazing athlete. Drew Brees is so head and shoulders above everybody from an athletic standpoint. There's nobody even close to him. And then you just said it from a philanthropic standpoint. Just listen to this number. In 15 years, he and his wife Brittany have donated $45 million. $45 million to schools, charities, and endeavors that they have believed in here in New Orleans. High schools, playgrounds, ALS research for Steve Gleason. They just built a $5 million hospital in New Orleans East for underserved communities. I mean, $45 million. So how do you celebrate that? I don't even know if a statue is enough. You're right. I suggested Lee Circle, or they just changed Jeff Davis Parkway to Norman Francis Parkway. When they took down the Confederate monument, I suggested that Leah Chase and Ruby Bridges, who integrated the schools here, and Drew Brees, these would be people to celebrate when we took down those 4 Confederate monuments here in New Orleans. And I still stand by that. I think that Drew Brees is somebody worthy of a statue, not just outside the Superdome, but in a prominent place around the city.
Agreed, 100%. Fletcher Makel joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. When you look at what they've done with just they were $100 million over the cap 2 weeks ago. Now they were $10 million over the cap on Monday. Mickey Loomis and his crew are magicians at this stuff. How do you feel about the future now that Brees is out?
I mean, look, I feel good because I think Sean Payton is truly one of the game's offensive innovators. The last 2 years without Brees, the Saints have gone 8-1 in the 9 games he's missed. Teddy went 5-0, Taysom went 3-1. So I think Sean Payton is truly one of the game's great coaches, one of the top 10 coaches in the history of the NFL. I think Mickey Loomis and Kai Harley, his top lieutenant, are amazing when it comes to the cap. But here's the thing. It's the great unknown. I mean, we can celebrate it because Jeff Ireland, Mickey's, assistant GM, does a great job with the draft, and he's killed it in recent years. The Saints have signed quality free agents in recent years, like DeMario Davis, who to me is the second best signing next to Drew Brees in Saints history. But it's still the great unknown because quarterback is the most important position. And while I like Taysom, he's unknown. While I know Jameis has otherworldly potential, he's still unproven because he could never get it together in Tampa. It's even though Mickey Loomis did some unbelievable mathematical gymnastics to get them below the salary cap, they lost a lot of quality depth. Yes, they kept their core intact. Kamara, Thomas, Davis, Jordan, Lattimore, Ramczyk. The core of the great players is here, but a ton of quality depth had to be let go. Sanders, and Janoris Jenkins, Nick Easton. I mean, they had to let a lot of quality depth go. Josh Hill at tight end. So you need a quarterback, and your depth is questionable. Do I still think they're a good team? Absolutely, positively. Do I think they're on equal footing right now with Tampa Bay or Kansas City? No, I don't. I hope they get there, but to say they're there right now, no, they got questions.
Do you have any feeling that the Russell Wilson thing was ever real, or could it ever be real again?
It was never real, and I don't think it will ever be real. I've been told unequivocally by some pretty strong sources it was never real. Seattle was never going to trade him. That other teams wanted to discuss it in their fan bases, which was great, is something that they could discuss and get excited about. The mayor of New Orleans did a video. But Seattle has never shopped him. Seattle has never taken a call on him. And Seattle has no interest in trading him right now. So therefore, it was never real. Could it be real? One day. 20-year-olds. I've seen veteran teams like in 2009 when they fired Byron Scott that just they weren't connecting with the coach anymore. I've seen good offensive and bad defensive coaches, good defensive coaches like Monty Williams, bad offensive coaches. I've never seen anything like this. And I like Stan Van Gundy. I mean, just how do you beat the Utah Jazz, the best team in basketball that had won 9 of 10, 14 of 15, was 27-7, and you smoked them. You beat them by 20 plus, and then you come out and lay an egg against Minnesota, a team that's 7-29, and get just blown off the court. I just have never seen anything like it. Just the ridiculous swings of inconsistency. You see this team on some nights, and you go, this team could not only get into the playoffs, but they could scare somebody. And then on other nights, you look at them and you say that they're the worst team in the Western Conference. And I don't know how to explain it. I really don't. Zion is an unbelievable force of nature offensively who is coming along in that point forward role. And at 20 years old, I think he's going to continue to grow into, a Luka-like player. He and Luka, to me, are the future of the NBA, and he's fantastic. But what's wrong with the team overall, I just don't know. Because Stan Van Gundy has been consistent, and what he wants to do is pretty simple. And some nights they do it, some nights they don't. But that is the only thing I can say about them is it's the most insane team I've ever covered because they are so amazing some nights and just so awful other nights, and there is very little in between.
Did you get a sense on what the expectations were from in-house or from the organization going into the season with Ingram locked in and Zion in year 2 and at least the nucleus in place and a first-year head coach in Van Gundy? What was the expectation around the program?
The expectation was that they wanted to be one of those final few playoff spots. They wanted to either be a 7 or an 8 seed, or this year, just like last year, a two-time thing, the bubble last year and then this year, they wanted to be one of those play-in teams, finish 9 or 10, and get a chance to compete against 7 or 8 for a playoff spot. And if they get there this year, I think it would be mission accomplished. Right now, they're either in 11th or 12th place in the Western Conference. But those were their expectations. Look, Zion's 20. LeBron didn't make the playoffs in Cleveland until his 3rd year. The greats, when the greats go to bad teams, 1, 2, 3 overall in the NBA, it's not a quick fix. This isn't the NFL where you can go from worst to first in the blink of an eye like the Saints did from 05 to 06. It takes time. So I think this year 2 for Zion, he's 20. They've got eight players that they play that are under the age of 25. They wanted to play meaningful games at the end of the season and kick around for one of those final playoff spots. Maybe they do it, and maybe we're talking about this season as a whole as a success in a couple of months. But right now they're not there, and they have underachieved, in my opinion, even with a 20-year-old superstar. Where they set expectations, they are underachieving right now.
Who's your Final Four?
That's a good question. I certainly like Villanova. I certainly like Michigan because I like what Juwan Howard's done this year, and I like their players. Part of me, I'd like to pick LSU, but I don't even know if I'd pick LSU over St. Bonaventure, let alone Michigan. And then if they got past Michigan, Florida State. So I hate to say this. I haven't even filled out my bracket yet. So giving you my Final Four, I feel like a little disingenuous right now. But I do like maybe Syracuse making a run. I work with a lot of Syracuse people, and if they don't stop talking about it, it's going to drive me crazy. So I'll give them a little kudos. But I always like Villanova. I just think Jay Wright's a great coach, and I certainly think that Michigan this year, if this is the year with all the blue bloods, reeling and being black and blue, so to say, from being beaten so badly this year, maybe this is a year that we see a program like that advance. And look, we have Tulane here in the AAC. I like Houston and have seen them quite a bit. So if I had to pick a dark horse team to maybe make the Final Four, I would probably pick a team like Houston. So I'm sorry I can't give you a flat-out Final Four, but those would be kind of some of my teams to keep an eye on. Michigan, Villanova for a championship, and then maybe Houston as a dark horse.
Great to hear live music back in the city, man. Hopefully things start trending more a normal direction here pretty soon as Fletcher Makel checks in.
Yeah, I agree. Let's hope we're all back to normal. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, everywhere this summer and this fall, full stadium, live music, all that great stuff. I appreciate you having me. And tell my man Doug Thompson, always appreciated him. Such a good dude. He was a great player. I was a mediocre player, but you see, 25 years later, we can still be good friends.
Number 99 in your programs, number 1 in your hearts. Fletcher Makel checking in this morning from WDSU. Great stuff as always, man. We'll see you again soon. All right, sweet. There is the walk-off. Oh. Fletcher with the walk-off. All right, Daily, we're brought to you by Johnson and Spillers Dentistry. We've got some great giveaways from Dr. Johnson and Dr. Spillers as they have jumped into our into our bracket challenge with some giveaways as they're going to do some Botox to our first place winner, Dr. James Johnson and Dr. Chad Spillers. Go and see them. Whether it's in Gonzales or whether it's in Baton Rouge, they can help you today. Their team is ready to help you, whether it's pediatric dentistry, whether it is some fillers, whatever you need from a dentist standpoint, whatever teeth work you need, or they can help you out with Botox, teeth whitening, all types of specials and offers that they have over at Johnson and Spillers here in Baton Rouge on Perkins Road in between Segan and Bluebonnet, and then out in Gonzales on Prepara Avenue. Stop in and see them, johnsonspillers.com online, and make sure you tell them you heard it here on the Jordy Culotta Show. All right, for LSU baseball, it is going to be a huge series, 50% capacity this weekend at the box, as it'll play the backdrop to one of the top teams in the country in Mississippi State and LSU going at it this weekend. Doug Thompson.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
What's going on, dude?
We are live. Good morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Sorry.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Yes. We just hung up with your former teammate, Fletcher Makel?
Yes, I had both Makels back in the day of Summer League over in New Orleans. It was great. Both those guys are awesome.
This wasn't during your professional run, Dougie, was it?
No. This was in between college seasons down in New Orleans playing for Coach Joe Sherman in the New Orleans Recreational League. It was great.
You got a scouting report on Fletch?
Well, they're both solid. They don't make many mistakes. They both both play.
She's got a good personality. Sounds like she's got a good personality.
Hey, I think they're both still playing.
They are.
That says something right there, you know.
Dougie, if I gave you the rock today, if I gave you the baseball today, and just trotted you out there to the box, what you hitting on the gun?
Oh man, I think I'd struggle to hit 80. I mean, I don't know that it would be. I don't know that I'd be able to get it there very good. But who knows?
What if we guaranteed no injury for one pitch and you could just let it rip? Is it still below 80?
No, I think I can get 80 if I could be guaranteed that nothing would be permanently injured. Yeah, I think I could get to 80, but that might be about all I got these days.
Dougie, you've seen this team now over the last couple of weeks here. They're 15-3 going into this series against Mississippi State. A lot of people obviously talking about this one from around the country, but take me through the first 18 games. What has been some of the highs? What has been some of the lows that you've seen from LSU going into this first SEC series?
Well, obviously, first, all the home runs have been fun to watch. They have 35 now, which is the most since 2009. Actually, more than 2009. I think they had 34 through 18 games. So, obviously, the home runs have been a lot of fun to watch. For me, nostalgic. It brings back the memories of the Gorilla Ball days. I think the starting pitching has been exceptional. I really like all the new faces. I mean, all of these kids, when they get the opportunity, the new freshmen I'm talking about, when they get the opportunity, both the hitters and the pitchers, for the most part, they've taken advantage of that. And I'm a believer, and a couple of them offensively. And then I think that there's 4 or 5, maybe even 6 new arms that'll be able to compete in the SEC. And then I think that the one drawback or the one thing that, you know, everyone is probably a little concerned about is the bullpen and how sturdy that will be going into this SEC season, which, of course, we expect to see the margins a lot closer in terms of score, right? A lot more one-run games and 2-run games, which will make that bullpen even more important. So, I love the tenacity, the resilience. This team just, they seem to have a belief that they're going to win every game despite the score and what inning it is. And that's a lot of fun to watch. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited to watch, you know, what happens now that we move into SEC play. Of course, there's not going to be many better tests than Mississippi State, who's going to roll in with like a 2.2 something ERA. They have 230 something strikeouts, 55 walks. I mean, they've dominated on the mound, and they lead the whole country in most of those categories: strikeouts, hits per inning, et cetera. So that offense will get a great test here early on. I think it'll give us all a better indication of how strong this team really is.
You mentioned the bullpen, and that has been a storyline. What are your thoughts on the frontline pitching?
Well, I think they've been good. I think that when Hill, Marceau, and Labus stay down and get ahead of hitters and don't issue too many walks, they can all be dominant. And we've seen that. When they throw strikes, they are very difficult to hit. And not just throw strikes, but early in the count, when they get ahead of hitters, they can be as dominant as anyone that we've had. But when they fall behind, they get in a little bit of trouble. But I think there's a lot of depth there. And I think there's a lot of options there on the front end of that rotation as well. I mean, a lot of these freshman guys like Helmers and Edwards and Ty Floyd have, to me, shown the ability to go up there and be one of those front-end starters. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. I think Fontenot's last outing against Southeastern on Tuesday night was a breath of fresh air because he's been so good for so long. But, I think one of the problems with the bullpen is these guys, Bittmeyer and Hilliard and Beck and George and others, they've been around so long now that really the book's out on them, and they're going to have to execute their pitches to be able to have any success, especially when we get in the SEC. So, but having said that, those guys have also been around a long time, and they've been on the mound and know how to handle themselves. So I think that the bullpen's going to work its way out. I think there's plenty of arms and plenty of depth on the pitching staff for Paul Mainieri and Alan Dunn to put it together.
When you look at this offense, you mentioned the home runs and what they've been providing there, but some of the faces that they've been coming from, some of the names that they've been coming from, maybe a little unexpected, but the way that Cade Doty has battled through injury and kind of found himself over the last week and a half, is this who he is?
Wow, I hope so. I mean, he's got 6 home runs in his last 6 games. He hit 4 in 3 games this weekend. He is just about the ball. It must look like a beach ball to him right now. It seems like every ball he hits is either out of the ballpark or deep to some part of the field. So, it's been Doty. It's been Dylan Cruz. Again, a lot of people. There was a lot of hype coming in around Dylan Cruz, and he's proven that with power to all parts of the ballpark. He leads the team in walks. He leads the team in runs scored. I mean, he's just been as exciting as he can be up there. And then guys like Gavin Dugas and Jordan Thompson's run 5 balls out of the ballpark, and Dugas and Thompson have both hit some big home runs late in the game. Exactly. You said it right. These are names that we didn't really know much about that have really stepped up in the power department. And then, the one that most recently has come on fire is Hayden Travinski. I mean, he hits the big tying home run on Sunday, and then his first at bat on Tuesday night hits another home run, and then he hits a double right off the bottom of the wall in left center field, and he was just cleared to get back behind the dish and actually catch due to some shoulder problems. But a lot of depth here, and that's always a good problem to have because guys are going to struggle. That's just the nature of the game. Guys are going to have multiple games, if not weeks, where they're not seeing it well, and to have that next man up ability, it's really a feather in the cap for this coaching staff.
Any update on Travinski? I know he kind of slipped around in second, and it looks like his knee got a little janked up. Is he okay? Are we going to be ready for the weekend?
I haven't heard anything other than he's going to be ready to go. I don't know if he'll start. I think that this state team runs a lot, so perhaps they'll go with Milazzo because the one thing Milazzo does is absolutely shut down the running game. So, but look for Hayden Travinski to get more opportunities behind the dish and in that lineup here over the next couple weeks.
What have you made of their defense, Doug, through the first month and a half?
Well, I like the newest shift, right? I like Arnold at second, and Jordan Thompson has done nothing out at shortstop to lose the position. I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm. He's got great range to his left and right. He's made some excellent plays. He's made all the routine plays. I like K. Doty at third base. He's had some tough hops over there and some tough plays that he's handled pretty well. And, of course, Trey Morgan, he's as flashy as they come over at first base, and a lot of fun to watch. So I do like that. And then we saw DiGiacomo coming to the game at the very end of the night. He defensive sub there at the very end. To see him up and moving again only bodes well for that outfield. With Cruz in right field and DiGiacomo in center, that's a lot of ground they'll be able to cover. So I think the defense is strong, Jordy.
When you talk about this LSU Mississippi State series, we had Coach Paul Maneri on earlier this week, and the first thing he brought up, obviously, was Ron Polk and Skip Bertman. This was a tradition and a rivalry when you were in school. It has budded the SEC baseball teams and programs really to take that sport seriously, to see what was going on in Baton Rouge and Starkville. Can you take me into a series with these matchups with these two teams when you're in the dugout with what it feels like?
Well, first of all, you can feel the history, especially when I play with Coach Polk and Coach Bertman in the dugouts. I mean, those two guys deserve a lot of credit for where college baseball is today, along with Ron Frazier, commercializing college baseball, showing other schools that, the baseball can be self-sustainable, if not be profitable. And now look what you see all over the SEC. There's stadiums that have 10,000 people in them, and South Carolina draws. Georgia has good crowds. Ole Miss looks like the old box from 15 years ago, and it's just now it's so much more exciting than it was 20 years ago. And all these games are televised. It's just really amazing how quickly and how far it's come. But this series in particular, I mean, it's two of the blue bloods. It's two of the oldest best programs in college baseball, and every time they match up, you can't help but think about Coach Polk and Coach Bertman and all those great players that have come through both programs, Will Clark and Palmero and Bobby Thigpen, of course, Ben McDonald, Todd Walker. It's just going to be a really exciting weekend, and what a great opening weekend for LSU baseball to tee it up against Mississippi State, one of their longtime rivals.
What's your schedule? Are you Friday, Sunday this week?
I'm Friday and Saturday. I'll be with my kids on Sunday. It'll be Buzzy and I Friday and Saturday with the Voice in Indianapolis to pull along the Tigers there in the tournament. We'll hope that he stays away for as long as possible. But yes, it'll be Buzzy and I. And I think it's Hunt and Buzzy on Sunday, but I can't be too sure about that.
Beautiful. You guys have been doing a great job in listening to the LSU baseball team on the LSU Sports Radio Network. As Dougie and Buzzy will be on the call for opening pitch Friday afternoon in what should be just a fantastic atmosphere for college baseball over at the box. Have a great call, Dougie. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, JC. Talk to you later.
Yes, sir. There is Doug Thompson checking in this morning as he gets as he will get the call for Friday. That's good to hear if Hunt will be back on the call for a big SEC series.
Oh yeah,
as Hunt was great on the call a couple of weeks back. I believe that was the Oral Roberts series in which he called Game 2 when LSU got a decisive win. Remember, over at Falaya Real Estate, if you like doing things yourself, if you want to save some cash, then you need to check out what's happening with Barrett Blondo over at Falaya Real Estate. It's do-it-yourself for selling your house. For more information, visit Falaya.com or download the app today at the Google or Apple Store. If you're looking to sell your home this spring and you're thinking about trying for sale by owner, then check out Falaya listing plans. They start at only $399. You can sell your house by yourself and save thousands with Falaya. If you want more information, Falaya.com. That's Falaya.com, Falaya.com, or download the app today at Falaya. Wherever you get your applications at, Google Play or Apple Store, find him there. It's Barrett Blondo and what he's got going on over at Falaya. 939-6153, 939-6153, 225 area code. Get in touch with Barrett Blondo, who, if you're following on social media, my man is killing it right now with what he's got going on. Appreciate Doug Thompson for stopping by. LSU will allow, as we said this weekend, if you're heading out to the box, there will be some tailgating that has been freed up according to the officials over at the university.
What are the restrictions? What are that?
So it is LSU will allow tailgating with restrictions at the spring outdoor athletic events beginning this weekend when LSU plays host to Mississippi State. The decision to allow tailgating on campus for this spring is for the events only. There has been no decision on tailgate for LSU in the fall. The health and safety participants, the staff, and fans remain a priority. The decisions to allow blah, 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 blah. The following are the guidelines for tailgating. My God. In accordance with Phase 3, for fans of the campus, the guidelines which will be enforced, masks for everybody that are tailgating.
Okay.
Drink through that
just
sucker.
Regular guidelines.
Distancing
and masks,
just phase 3,
okay.
Distancing and masks.
Don't you have to be with, if you're at a party of 15, it has to be all family members, which is a nice little caveat because who's to know if you're related or not.
Right. Hey, cuz.
Yeah.
What up, cuz?
Grab a little. Yeah, don't kiss anybody. You'll out yourself.
Cuz, grab me a beer. Cuz.
Yeah, cuz.
That's my cousin. That's just my cousin.
Get down in the Courtney family.
That's just my cousin. First 4 today. NCAA bracket. We got our final 4. Everybody got a bracket? Everybody got a bracket? Bracket. Good.
I gotta
good.
fill mine out.
Yeah. Bracket? No? Sheesh. JordyCulotta.com. JordyCulottaShow.com.
Does it have to be in today or tomorrow?
Yeah, I think I have some time.
Are you trying to get out of here?
No, I just want to play a little music. I'm not trying to get out of here, dude. I'm staying all
Does
day.
the bracket have to be in today or tomorrow?
Bracket's got to be in tomorrow before the opening
right.
tip. I believe that's 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay.
10:30, I think, is our cutoff tomorrow morning.
I really want that spark.
Well, I mean, don't we all?
Yeah.
The ghost spark.
I'll be filling it out during the show. Like, oh, shit, bracket. Let me get that spark real quick.
Always appreciate the interaction here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Some of the things that we left on the cutting room floor yesterday that we didn't get to, or some of the things that we talked about early on. Did you see this? Remember this? Oregon State has postponed the decision. I don't really get this. Has postponed the decision. Did anybody watch this? This hearing yesterday?
It was getting live tweeted out.
They were going after his ass yesterday. I had no security that I thought he was going to make it. I thought for sure they were going to fire him yesterday.
Definitely.
I mean, like,
I thought we were going to watch it play out live too.
Me
like,
too.
We were going to just get the
I
axe
thought
right
that
now.
they were about to axe him right there. I was following Johnston Von Springer over at WBRZ, who was covering it for their news station. And I mean, they were bringing in employees, they were bringing in past students, they were bringing in students.
It's like a town hall meeting.
It was, and they were going at F. King. And he was obviously in CYA mode. You see him going on Les? Talk about what Les was.
Got to kick a man when he's down. Like if everybody's piling on, I'll hop atop.
Said Les thought he was above. Thought he was above everybody else. The man had no repercussions. There was no way of governing him. And by the early 2016 season, everybody was on board to fire him. And you know, F. King was talking about it was really kind of just dumping on LSU as he was fighting to keep his job. During the meeting, Alexander repeatedly slammed LSU as he described the many obstacles he said facing during his time in Louisiana. He characterized LSU as a seriously underfunded place where athletics tried to run the university and where certain segments of the Baton Rouge community were opposed to change, as F. King calls it. His probationary period, which goes until June 1st, I don't think he makes it. I don't think he makes it to June 1st. No. Man, I don't think he gets there. I don't think he gets past this close of the semester. When's he into school? At the end of May? Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think that he gets past that. He may not make it like through the weekend.
That's what I think. It might be like a little Saturday news dump. Like, I got rid of King Alexander.
Yeah, I mean, for as hostile as yesterday was, I mean, I don't see that
going from his neck.
I mean, I don't see that cooling off.
Do you think he enjoyed his time at LSU? Because I would say,
yes.
You think so?
Absolutely, man. I mean,
you were going to say he didn't.
I mean, nobody liked the guy.
Well, I mean, I don't think he was here to be liked. I think he was here to influence his politics and his procedures, and he was aligned with the right people politically. And for whatever reason, they compensated him very well for what he was doing. At one point, he was the highest paid president in the league. And I mean, LSU was upside down.
Right.
I mean, it just didn't make a lot of sense, his leadership. We got Richard Lipsy going on him and Oliva when Lipsy sat in here. And you could see that Lipsy wanted to go in, but I mean, look, F. King was dealing with some personal stuff too. That I mean, he was having a tough time controlling that. You know, I mean, the real executives and superiors at LSU were trying to get out in front. I mean, I think Lipsy was trying to go in on that, but he thought a little bit about it before he really started to talk about it. But there was an absence, and I think that's probably who F. King is talking about when he says where there were certain segments of the Baton Rouge community that were opposed to change. And, you know, I think he did a terrible job in being able to communicate to not only the student body, but to the executives around him, the lobbyists up at the – I mean, there's stories about him at the Capitol that are just appalling with the way that he handled himself or the way that he tried to shove his procedures or policies down legislators' throats. I mean, legislators are trying. I mean, the lobbyists in LSU and the government relations, they're all trying to kind of work hand in hand. You know what I mean? They're trying to kind of unify and come together. And from some people that are very connected and close up there, F. King was a detriment to that at times. But for whatever reason, he was held and compensated very well while he was at LSU. So. I absolutely believe that he enjoyed his time at LSU. I think that it sounds like he was probably looking at what was going on saying, I'm taking these people for a ride.
Yeah, I can't fix this,
yeah,
but I'll take their money.
I mean, like, the academics is upside down. The football coach runs the university. I mean, the politics are out of control, but hey, I mean, I'll stay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you keep paying me.
Strike that check, I'll be
do
around.
it. Yeah, I mean, I'll hang. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's obviously trending in the wrong direction for F. King right now in Corvallis after yesterday's meeting. Something that we didn't talk about yesterday that I wanted to mention, LeBron James, Los Angeles Lakers star, is joining the Fenway Sports Group as a partner, giving him an ownership stake in its subsidiaries that include the Boston Red Sox, the Liverpool Football Club, Rush Fenway Racing, and the regional sports network titled NESN. Sources told ESPN James, now who's 36 years old, already owned 2% of Liverpool, the current English Premier League champion.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yes.
How much is 2% of Liverpool? I mean, I can't get 2% of Liverpool.
No, but I'd imagine that it's probably. I mean, it's got to be
Hundreds of
millions.
millions?
Not hundreds. Not hundreds.
Well, how many buy more?
Well, I mean, I think what he's buying
He's
into
doing now. He's
yeah.
diversifying that portfolio. He's got a little
absolutely.
baseball, a little footy.
But with the Red Sox, James gets limited partnership in MLB's top franchise. I mean, the teams, I mean, the Yankees and the Red Sox are as valuable in sports as the Dallas Cowboys and, I mean, and the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, you think about
That's a lot.
The headline franchises in the sport. When you think baseball, who do you think?
Red Sox.
Or Yankees. You know what I mean? Like, when you think football, who do you think?
LSU football.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys.
You know what I mean?
I know what you're going with.
You know, you just think those name
Yeah,
brands.
the stalwart brands of what the NFL
Absolutely.
is.
I mean, the Red Sox is that. And now LeBron James, who the Boston Red Sox are an estimated worth of $3 billion now, a minority owner of the Red Sox. And Tiger Woods is on the move from out west as he is flying back down to South Florida. Woods said through his social media that he's returned to his house down in southern Florida after his car crash on February 23rd. In a statement on Twitter, he said that he is grateful for the outpouring of support and encouragement that he has received over the past couple of weeks. Thank you to all the incredible surgeons, doctors, nurses, and staff at Harbor UCLA Medical Center and Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Woods also went on to say that you have all taken such great care of me, and I cannot thank you enough. I will be recovering at home and working on getting stronger. So Tiger Woods.
Positive with no drama around it.
Yes.
That's
And
nice.
that's how he needs to stay.
Yeah.
Let that just kind of fade
just
into
go
the
get
background,
right, buddy.
and then get
Yes.
your golf game right.
go
Let's
get
see
right.
See you in a year.
Just go get right. Remember, our podcast is brought to you by RMB Builders. Rhett Bourgeois and the crew over at RMB Builders. 921-7062 is how you get in touch with Rhett. Give him a call today or online at rmb-builders.com is how you find them online. But if you need a custom-built home, if you need some reconstruction done around the house that you're living in now, or if you want to remodel and redesign the house, get in touch with Rhett. Katie knows it all too well right now, as we were running all over the city yesterday, and Rhett was checking in with what was going on over at
He's
the house.
amazing.
Yes, it seems like he is very well organized.
He has set up a calendar that he has shared with David and I and the crew, and that shows like every day what they're doing on our job.
And it goes until the end date.
Yes.
Like you know what day it'll wrap
I know
up.
everybody that's coming to our house, everything that's happening that day. It's amazing.
Rhett Bourgeois, RMB Builders. He also brings you our podcast. Podcast will be filled today with some basketball talk as we checked in with Stacey Hollowell, who is one of the really good coaches within the NAIA, as he's got Loyola's basketball program headed back to the national tournament this weekend in St. Louis. Good conversation with Coach Hollowell in the opening hour. We also talked to Makin Money to get some gambling tips on the tournament, as you cannot do that right now in Louisiana. Sheesh, how bad was that? Fletcher Makel and Doug Thompson.
She was doing some.
This is a good save.
She was doing some mental gymnastics.
That was a great. That was a great save by her. Because I just tried to walk her into the back room.
Yeah.
Tell us everything.
There's no cameras in here. Don't worry about it.
Yes. And appreciate everybody's interaction. Appreciate the likes, the shares, the comments, the dislikes, whatever it is. We just appreciate you being here and interacting with us. As the Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you daily by Go Chevrolet. Remember, you still have time to log online and fill out your bracket. Brought to you by Just Winging It. JordyCulottaShow.com.
I gotta go do that next.
Just Winging It bracket challenge.
Go Spark.
If you're waiting until the last minute, get in.
We're going to try to fit 8 people in that Spark.
The perfect bracket.
Nick Richard.
We'll get you a Spark from Go Chevrolet. Everybody enjoy your Thursday. This week has flown by. With,
the only A-Rod J-Lo update today is that she's been wanting to break it off for 6 months.
Oh.
That's it, though.
She just wanted that out. She
just threw that out there.
I was first.
She just needed you to know.
Yeah. That's it so far.
He might be sliding in DMs, but I was trying to slide out way before that.
She's like, I was
way
done
before that.
Madison LaCroix, whatever her name was.
All right, for the crew, Katie, Nikki, Mikey, Lizzie, I'm Jordy. Be back tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.